back to gold, to its energy, its power, its potential. Drink it in. Guinness. Black shines brightest.
Alright, so good afternoon. For us of 3 Music, progress is at the heart of what we do, particularly for the creative industry which we play in. We've been very particular about all the relevant things that needs to be done to elevate the conversation in the industry. And so this was a compelling reason that got us into this campaign. Guinness, which is something that we share in with this current Guinness campaign, Black Shine Brightest, which is to celebrate industry, which is to elevate the industry, and most importantly, drive all the conversations that matter to industry. And so for us at 3 Media Networks, what we hope to do on this campaign is basically to take all these insights, experiences, and you know, the life stories of these professionals, experts in their own ways, to the various different parts of the country, so we can inform, so we can educate, so we can enhance the knowledge of people that are looking to break into the industry. This, we think, are what will form the bedrock of any successful industry. We've always maintained that you cannot build any industry without thought leadership. What we are here to do is essentially to drive that thought leadership conversation, which will set any of these development that we're seeking to make in the industry. So that's why we are involved with this. Most importantly, as 3 Music and 3 Media Networks, because we also have an industry development program. All these while we go, we're also on the lookout for talent, also on the lookout for people that can be part of all the industrial development programs that we're doing in a way where we can amplify them, where we can push them, where we can promote them to ensure that they achieve their bottom line. So this doesn't become just another talk show. It also becomes another platform to discover talent, another platform to highlight some of the exciting talent in the various different regions that we're coming to. So yes, we're here in Takoradi. Hopefully at the end of this session, we're looking to meet a lot of these exciting young talents that are coming up. And then we're very certain that once we meet a bit of the criteria that we set for ourselves, our bar is a bit higher, I must confess. But definitely, we're on the lookout to highlight all these amazing talent that are in the various different regions. So Takoradi wouldn't be an exception. Obviously, all of these things powered by Guinness. Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you very much. CEO of 3 Music, Sadiq Abdullah. I think you can do better. Ziggy, how about a move before you sit down? Thank you. I could do that after 3 years of classes. Yeah, just 2 years. My next guest, quite a tall figure, I should say. He's a media and entertainment professional, having worked his way up the Ghanaian and African media and entertainment space within the last 16 good years. Sadiq also previously worked for the Modern Times Company Group Africa as Viasat One, the very popular Viasat One. Yes, Sadiq was there as well. He was the head of programs and then owns productions and executive producer as well, all at Viasat One. Let me tell you a quick story. When he was at MTG Africa, Sadiq was also responsible for the Pan-African Music Channel, Trace TV's operations in Ghana. Sadiq Abdullah Abu, please join me right on stage. Thank you very much. Thank you. You want to do a dance move as well? Yes, it should. Okay, the next person that I'm just about talking about, I'm super excited to introduce him. George Mensah Britton, never knew he was a Mensa. George Mensah Britton is an award-winning media personality, talent manager, entertainment pundit, a brand creative serial entrepreneur. In his early years, George Britton spearheaded, I should say, and founded the startup of the GB Interactive after his successful leadership as brand manager for both the GhanaMusic.com and MyPromo. As a sought-after creative leader, George successfully launched his own brand and brainchild, GB Interactive Limited, a multidisciplinary media and marketing solutions company. Oh, this is George. This is you. Okay, my next guest, fantastic guy. We've had a lot of conversations ever since we started this journey, and we came to Takra. We've had a lot of conversations. Now, Nana Kofi Asehene is a creative practitioner with over 20 years in the creative industry, working in film, content production, brand, photography, design, fashion, advertising, and the music industry. He runs a production company, the NKACC, and a product design studio. I think we can go better. I'm going to introduce my very final panel member. I like food, so when I'm about to do this, I'm super excited because Kenora Awele believes African culinary art deserves more appreciation and attention across the globe, which is why she has taken up the challenge of introducing exceptional and creative ways food in general can be exploited and unconventionally manipulated. Now, Kenora is a Ghanaian-based African food connoisseur, founder and CEO of a culinary company called Telandi World Limited. Now, Telandi simply means eat with me in the Ghanaian Kusasi dialect from the northern part of the country. Now, Kenora's passion for food has made her an expert in the art of food blogging, recipe development, menu engineering, food photography, videography, and food styling. Let's give it up for Kenora Awele. The gentleman can do better. This is beyond lady on the planet, and she's so beautiful. I'll take a picture with you one more time. Alright, so again, these are my panel. We are going to have a very beautiful, a very healthy interaction here today. Now, if you have questions, if you want to ask all of those questions, I am sure we have smartphones. We can write them on our notepad. But this conversation is over. I'm going to give everybody the chance to come through with all of your questions. Thank you very much. I think that I can sit as well. We want to find out from them exactly how the story started for them. How they were able to maneuver their way to the very top that they find themselves right now.
I call myself a creative consultant now because over the past number of years, I've done lots of things. So my journey started as I did art in essence, and that's where it started. Contrary to what usually happens, they didn't want me to do art. Look, in my house, they wanted me to do art because there were artists in my house. But I went to school and like, why don't you do science? You know, that typical thing that happens. So I was like, no, I wanted to do art. I pursued art, and that meant that was a challenge for me to do it properly. After art, in SS, went to art school, went to uni. I tried fashion first. I set up a fashion company. I did graphic design, then photography, then film, and then quite a number of fields of art. So after all these years, I call myself a creative consultant because I understand a lot of these things. You know, they say master. What's the phrase? Jack of all trades, master of none. I set out to define that phrase because for everything I touched, I make sure I was, if not the best, one of the best at it. So now I'm in a position where I understand certain things, and also after doing it for a number of years and being an entrepreneur, now I can help other brands navigate that path. So it's not just about, oh, I'm an artist or creative consultant, just about a creative, but it's also the business part, which for me right now has become priority because a lot of creatives tend to shun that part of it. So I mean that's in essence like the journey how I got here.
Alright, thank you very much. Now let me go to George Britton. Now George Britton, you work in a lot of sectors, but I think that you dominate in the music space as well and all of that. You must be quick to emphasize that music on the African continent is having a lot of effect globally and all of that. When did it come up? When did you see that okay, this is the place to enter and all of that?
Yeah, so the first time I did a major artist artwork was engaged by Big Ben, and I did a project, an artwork for Daddy Lumba, and that was the first time I saw Daddy Lumba, and I was excited to see Daddy Lumba. But I said Lumba, I've done a lot for the Castros and all these people. Within that space, I felt like, okay, I needed to be part of the music industry. So that was the same time that my then boss, Mr. Nia Bimensa, had set up GhanaMusic.com, but then he lived in America. So it was right for us because we're neighborhood boys. We used to live in Tesano.
Yeah.
So, I was just next to his house. Then me and his nephew, who was near Tabra, we were give me the opportunity, even though we're one of the finest producers in Ghana in 2009. So I said, no. Sam Mallet. People know my story. So yeah, Sam Mallet introduced me to them and I think he took up there and it was exciting. I quite remember the first time he started on Ghana Music Awards, stayed to receive an award from my artist. It was such a great feeling. And ever since then I have been with quite a number of artists, and of course Akunana, when we came around to do a lot of promotion and of course performances here. Same as Sketcher, and today is Camilo. So that has been my journey as an artist manager, and it's been sweet.
All right, thank you very much, John Britton. Now, I think that if it was not for today, I wouldn't have known that you did towards or graphic content for Dagiloba. This is news to me.
Well, I still do for a lot of people.
Oh, I see. And want to say a very big thank you going out to the Guinness Bright House Creative Masterclass for giving us a platform like this. And because of that, I've learned something. Yeah? And the profile, we heard of News Africa, all of those great things you did with Viasat One and all of that. But talk to me, before those years, before those stories, who was Sadiq? What was he aspiring to do?
Well, I started off as an errand boy to a very reputed on-air presenter, John Jermaine.
Okay.
So right after completing the national college, I just became errand boy.
And let me get a little clarification on errand boy. I said, to Kofi Brookman brand.
Immediately, the same I go collect the girls around. Basically I was John Jermaine's errand boy, and then he took me in. So because he was a presenter at Metro TV, we tend to frequent Metro TV a lot, in the early 2000s. And so the more we went to Metro TV, I took time off to, I was very curious, so I took time off to stay here and ask a lot of questions. There were a lot of established and insightful producers and directors, Baba Mulai, all of them. At a certain point in time, Asus also came there. And so while spending time at Metro TV, within that period, I took time to learn on the job. So I learned how to produce TV shows, I learned how to create content and all. Then became a production assistant at a point in time. And after that, I became an assistant producer. Along the line, I felt I could do more, so I just went back to school to study communications. After my communication school, I did some bit of work with Inside Communications, which is an advertising agency. Then I joined Multimedia Group as an innovations executive. Then I also joined, whilst at Multimedia, I also joined the HitFM productions team, programming team, in fact, and became a productions coordinator. And so that has been the journey, and then along the line, I veered off. I went into my first entrepreneurship, started to create content, 30 minutes, fashion GH, food creativity, together with Step. Okay. And so before everything else, that was how the hustle became. And then I also tried Rockstar Films and Women. Rockstar Films is known for creating the one aid project for Airtel. I don't know if anybody remembers it, Kelly. Then we did the 020 Live. Again, at Rockstar's affiliate agency, we did what they say, produce a couple of videos for some of the talent on the roster. So yeah, essentially that's how I began on. But I've always been a product of mentorship from some of the industry's brightest minds. And so that's how.
Give me a list of some of the people.
Well, there's a lot.
Just a few.
So Rudy Bukwachi, I'm sure a lot of you know him. Alex Okosi, MTV based now on YouTube. Joseph Munda, a very top guy. He ran MultiChoice for some time in Africa.
Okay.
He became my boss at MTG. And then Ben Amanasu, who is now with Netflix, he was my direct boss at the time when I was at Branson. So these are some of the people who shaped my mindset and thinking and perceptions and got me to become who I am now in the entertainment industry.
All right, thank you very much, Sadiq. Now, we want to say a very big thank you going out to Guinness for putting this together. Of course, this is the Guinness Bright House Creative Masterclass, and it is enabling this conversation. Because of that, we know that somebody like Sadiq started as an errand boy, Yeah, I think I'm going to change his name on my phone. Era's boy. Okay, now on my way here, let me come to the only lady on this. Now on my way here, Kinora, myself and DJ Viroski were talking about what you do, and we think you're doing an amazing job. For some of us here in this country, when we talk blogging, the only thing that is coming to mind is entertainment blogging. But you decided to take up food blogging, put a lot of style, a lot of thinking to it and all of that. Share that story with me.
Okay, so I started off in my apartment.
Okay.
So initially it was just me and a photographer, and I prepare a meal. Usually it's supposed to be my lunch or my dinner.
Okay.
So I call him over and I style the meal beautifully and he takes pictures. So my whole idea when I started was Ghanaian food or African food was presented poorly. When you Google a lot of any meal, any local meal, it's just, there's no effort in it. So I decided to, rebrand the presentation of African food in order for it to reach international standards, because people are doing a lot in the food industry outside Ghana or outside Africa. And Africa is just like, okay, it's not even a career.
Yeah.
So when I started off, I started doing that. I started posting images, and after a couple of months, let's say 3 months, I started getting calls from clients, big brands like Nestle, a whole lot of big brands I didn't even think of. And we started with production. I started buying my own equipment instead of renting them, because it's a lot of money renting a lot of equipment. So I decided, okay, let me just give more instead of just doing pictures, and we do videos, show recipe videos in a short form, just as BuzzFeed do. So yeah, so I started off like that. I started posting and it went viral. The whole of Ghana, the whole of Nigeria, East Africa, South Africa, Africa, outside Africa even. So yeah, that's how it started.
Okay, so I think that essentially we have been able to establish the starting story of all of my panel members here, and that is what we intend to do, to encourage everybody here, to make everybody understand that the smallest start should not put you off. You can always rise through the ranks.